What's up, guys? Michael here with Valencia Fan TV, bringing you the latest video on the club we all love, Valencia. Be sure to subscribe for the latest news, match predictions, recaps, and all the latest news around Valencia and La Liga this season. It's shaping up to be a very competitive and exciting season where we are pushing on for Europe. But getting into the big win we had over Cadiz, and this really was a massive win for us. We hadn't won in about 3 or 4 weeks since that game where we actually destroyed Atletico Madrid, and we were sitting at 11 points, kind of in that mid-table 10th spot. And this win really picked us up and separated us from the bottom of the pack for the likes of Cadiz, Almeria, Granada, in the bunch. But getting into the lineup, I actually liked the lineup pretty well. I thought the back four was really strong. Of course, we had Gaya at left back, we had Mosquera, we had um, Paulista, and then Thierry Correa, along with the big man Mamadashvili in goal. I liked a lot of the forwards. I liked Diego Lopez up there. I like Hugo Duro. I liked Javi Guerra in midfield. Fran Perez. I thought the team, Papalou, I thought the team overall was very solid. Obviously, missing Almeida and missing Diakabi was going to be tough for us, but we were able to battle through that, and I think we had a really strong performance. Now, this game was pretty much played in a rainstorm. If you guys saw the game, you'll see that on the screen. It was pretty much a downpour from the go. So you never know how these games are going to go. Sometimes the rain can actually make the defense a little bit sloppy and lead to some pretty easy goals. Other times you have just nil-nil games. Nobody can score because the conditions are so bad. So you never know what you're going to get. And getting that first goal quick is so important, and that's exactly what Jose Gaya did. Jose Gaya came through as he always does. It was actually off a nice little assist by Amala, who I've been a little bit down on, our recent big signing, but he actually put the ball in perfectly to Gaya, and then Gaya had really an incredible finish. He chipped it over the Cadiz goalkeeper, which is pretty tough because he is one of the more solid players on the team, one of the better goalkeepers across La Liga. And that's pretty unusual for Gaya. Gaya is not typically known as a goal scorer. I forget what the statistics were, but they were showing just how rare it is for Gaya to actually come through with a goal. But in that case, he did absolutely everything you want to see from a captain. This is a team that's been struggling a little bit over the last couple weeks, and for him to put the team up inside of 5 minutes early against a struggling team like Cadiz is crucial. If you get that early goal in a game where it's raining like this, it's probably a little bit cold over there, the players are getting a little bit miserable, it kind of takes away that team's will to fight. Whereas if you get this game going 0-0 for 70 minutes, they're going to keep the intensity, they're going to keep fighting on. But that was just the perfect start for Valencia and is exactly what we needed from our captain. Probably one of the more interesting things I saw coming into the game was that 5 of the starting 11 players are actually academy graduates, which is something you love to see. I think this team really is building a great core through its youth program. We have so many good players coming through, whether it's Guerra, Diego Lopez, Gaia, who came through a while ago, Mosquera. There's so many players coming through, and it seems to be across the entire field. It's not just one position. We have forwards coming through, we have defenders coming through, we have midfielders coming through. And I think the academy is really holding this club together. Without the academy producing so many great players, I think we'd really be in some tough shape. Not that we aren't already. Team looked very lively early. That's one thing I think about. I think this team has been consistently able to do. They come out of the gates. They come out aggressive. They come out looking to score, and that was the case today. And obviously, we capitalized off it. The game changed a little bit when Cadiz went down to 10 men, but Valencia was there. Valencia took advantage of that, and they got the goal. They got the second goal they needed off a beautiful Thierry Correa Rabona to a Hugo Duro header. That was one of the fanciest goals I've seen this season. One of the best goals I've seen this year. And I think Correa has really been a bright spot for our team. He was one of the last big signings we really had when we signed him for, I think, $12 million from Sporting. A price that's hard to believe for Valencia nowadays, but we really need him to come through and really hold down the right back spot. We have, Gaia at left back. We have Vasquez. I know he's dealing with some medical issues right now, but we have the left back spot pretty solid, and we just need Correa to lock down the right back spot. And so far, he's doing a fantastic job. First half was all Valencia, as you'd expect. We were up a man for I think 30 to 40 minutes, and we just capitalized off it. That's exactly what you want. Second half, I think Valencia came out a bit naive. I think that Cadiz had a couple of great opportunities. There was a lot of space, and Luckily for Valencia, Cadiz was not able to capitalize on that, and that kind of shows the youth in us, right? I think we were going for that third goal, and that's all well and good, but you have to play a little bit more conservatively once you have that 2-0 lead. Sure, push on for the third goal, push on for the winner, but also make sure that you're not vulnerable at the back. If that means your defenders aren't joining the attack, then so be it. Maybe up 2-0 in the 50th minute. You don't need Gaya, you don't need Correa pushing on. I think that everyone was really motivated. I think that all the players wanted to get involved. I mean, when you're Correa and you have that great assist, and when you're Gaya and you have that great goal, I think it's natural that you're going to want to push on and try to get a second or maybe another great assist. So I understand it from that perspective, but it's kind of on the coach at that point to kind of settle the players down and understand the reality of the situation. Ultimately, though, I thought the team looked hungry. I think that every single player, like I said, from the back to the midfield to the forward, they were all eager to get forward, and I think that's a couple things. One, I think that's the mentality that Barajas created, but I also think it's just the game. When you're on the front foot, when they're down a man, when you have a two-goal lead, everyone wants to get involved. Everyone wants to keep going for more goals, so that's natural. It was good to see Guillemot come on. Guillemot is one of those players. He's kind of been left behind by Baraja, and it's a shame. He's a player who's been called up for the Spanish national team. He's a player I still think has a bright future, and I'd love to see him get more involved in the game. We need more defensive help. We need more solidity in the defensive midfield, in the center back position. So if he can get back into form, it's only going to help Valencia as a club because we really need depth across the field, really. Across the field, but in every position. Um, Late in the game, we had a great chance for Yaramchuk. He took the ball very cleanly. It was a clean offsides. The ref got the right call. But I think even despite the offsides call, I think that's good for his confidence. He needs to see the ball going in the back of the net. And this club's going to need as many goal scorers as possible. So that can only mean good things for him and the club moving forward. And this lastly, I thought the game was really moving to the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. I thought we were moving to kind of a boring 2-0 result, and that's exactly what you want when you're up 2-0. However, the last 5 minutes or so, the concentration really lapsed. I think maybe Cadiz started to have some urgency, and they had a couple of great chances where Mamadashvili was absolutely incredible. He made some great saves, and he continues to be a rock at the back. For what it's worth, I think he's been the best player this season. He's been really incredible and probably the brightest spot for this club over the last 2 to 3 years. So hats off to Mamadashvili. The man continues to show his worth. And honestly, if he keeps this up, he's probably going to earn a big time move to another club. Probably the one downside of this game, I think that Guerra was a little bit absent. I think that Guerra didn't really show too much. He was kind of in and out, didn't have any bright moments. He had a pretty good a pretty good attempt on goal, maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes into the game where he shot the ball from probably 20, 30 yards out. He was pretty close, but that was really all his impact, I thought. I thought it was a pretty quiet game from him, and he's been incredible this season, so I think he was due for kind of a low-key game. But the man of the match was none other than Jose Gaya. Like I said earlier, he got the game started on the right foot. He was dangerous throughout the game. I think that Mamadashvili had a late charge to actually be man of the match, but I think that the way Gaya started it out and the way he captained the game, I think that he was the no-brainer man of the match for today. Moving forward, we actually have a really, really crucial matchup with Athletic Bilbao next Sunday. That's a real 3 point battle, a real 6 point battle there. Currently, Valencia is on 14 points in eighth place, and they are on 17 points in sixth place. So if we can get a win at them, we will actually leapfrog them in the battle for Europe, and that's going to be a massive game for Valencia and for Baraja's men. And speaking of Baraja, this was actually his 27th game in charge of Valencia. During that time period, he's won 9 games and he's lost 11. And I think really he's done everything you could expect for a man in his situation. The club has limited resources, to say the least. There's no big signings, but what he's done was he created an environment where every single player fights for the club. Every single player thinks they have or feels that they have a big part to play, and they actually come out and execute. And he's integrated so much youth into this club. I, for one, am extremely excited to see how the season plays out in the years coming forward, and it's all to what he's done. This was a club that I think a year and a half ago, had no ambition. They had no prospects coming through aside from maybe Guillemot, who's even fallen away. and he's a guy he's changed the entire outlook of this club, and I think we can all say that we're excited about the future. And forever, Amut Valencia. Take care, guys.